On this week's episode, Spider-Man is in some big trouble. Star Trek Discovery beams up for season 4, and it's time to bust some ghosts once again. All this and more as we reach our next stop, the PCC Multiverse. And we're back with another episode of the PCC Multiverse. This is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and the Lakers Fast Break. We truly appreciate everyone out there listening to all of our shows. And if you can, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Plus, if you can like, share, subscribe, follow, or do anything that you can to support us right here at the Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, Game Source, and also the fact that we're the #1 streaming tabletop RPG producer out there on Facebook or Meta or whatever they're calling it this week. I think I'm sticking to Facebook for now. So you check out all our games that we have over the course of the week at Facebook for Pop Culture Cosmos. And if you do support any of these great causes that's out there in the media world, it is sincerely appreciated. But it wouldn't be a PCC Multiverse without my good friend. She is our own Lord and Mistress over the overseer, per se, of all of our fantastic games at Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook. You got to go ahead and check out what she's doing today. Every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday. Wednesday's my day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And go ahead and check out what she's doing today with all the great games that she does. It is my good friend. It is Melinda Barkhouse. And Melinda, great to have you here. We are jam-packed full of pop culture goodness. And
Yes,
you've got the
we
Starbucks to get you roaring, too.
And I'm like, sorry, I picked yours up, but I didn't have time to get it to you. So,
Oh, well, I guess you got to have it.
yeah, I'll drink it for you. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I apologize for
You're
that.
so sweet. Oh, you're so nice. Oh, we got much love for you. Yes, give you mutual props on that. All right. But it is going to be a great episode we got for you today. Again, we are just jam-packed middle of November. I told you, I warned you guys
You
out
did.
there that are listening and watching that it would be a jam-packed November, and it certainly has been. And that's not even including all the stuff that came out this week. We're talking about including Ghostbusters Afterlife, which is going to be available. And when you hear this, we're going to be talking about that. Plus, we're also going to be talking the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, which dropped. Oh my gosh, the internet is talking about that. Everybody's watching that. Tiger King 2 is out on Netflix. Why it's kind of a downer and why it will probably not resonate as well as Tiger King last year. We'll talk about that coming up on the show. Star Trek Discovery Season 4 is here. And why is Melinda mad about Star Trek Discovery? As a huge Star Trek fan, we'll talk about that coming up here in a bit. Halo Infinite gave us a surprise at the Xbox 20 live stream, an otherwise non-noteworthy live stream that I sat through. We'll tell you why. There's some big news coming up for Halo Infinite. Actually, it's already available now. So we'll talk about that coming up here in a bit. Plus Battlefield 2042, the early reviews. We'll talk about that. Pokemon Pearl and Diamond, that's coming up as well. And last but not least, I want to preview WWE Survivor Series about a little bit more behind the scenes, what's going on in regards to a cat fight that's going on. It's even more than a wrestling match. We'll talk about how two of the top WWE superstars are at each other's throats in a different way coming up on the back end of the show as well. I love behind the scenes juice. I love it. I love it. But first, my friend, it is Ghostbusters Afterlife. Are you going to be busting some ghosts here pretty soon? Because second major kickstart in the past 10 years of the Ghostbusters franchise is out in theaters. It looks to be doing around $40 to $50 million domestically and probably another $100 to $120 million worldwide. A nice solid opening. Has the return of the living and available Ghostbusters. I'm not counting Rick Moranis, but if you want to count Rick Moranis, I'm not sure if it counts him in too. But I do know that Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, and Bill Murray are confirmed for making an appearance on it. Paul Rudd, the sexiest man alive, according to
Hmm.
people, is involved in it. And he's running out of a Walmart crazy because he's got ghosts and monsters following him and running after him. It looks like it's going to be a grand old time with a whole bunch of kid actors all over the place as well. So you tell me, are you excited to be busting some ghosts in Ghostbusters Afterlife?
Um, yeah.
Doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, full disclosure, I mean, I grew up watching the movies, the original,
Yes.
and I enjoyed them.
Even two? Ghostbusters
Yeah,
2?
well, even Ghostbusters 2, I know,
You're
fine, at
brave.
me for that one, I'm sorry, but it's true, I didn't dislike it, and I, probably won't dislike this movie. Am I gonna be there, this weekend to see it? No, probably not. I'll get around to it, but it's not a movie that I'm, you know, lining up for, I guess.
I took my girls when the reboot of Ghostbusters came out in
Yes.
2015, 2016,
Mhm.
from Paul Feig, who was, the Bridesmaids director and had, the female cast. And we were so excited to show our girls off to this. And they were so excited because, they were really excited to see embodiments of them on the screen as far as females are concerned and have a nice women power and it was really I really felt good for them because they were really excited for it and they were so depressed because the movie was so bad for them. And we
Yeah.
went to the Grauman's Chinese Theater and we saw this and spent extra money and the whole layout because we were right in the middle of Hollywood. And yeah, they were just so bummed,
Ugh,
and
that's
and
hard.
they were brokenhearted. I mean, if
Yeah.
they couldn't like it, and they were what 9 and excuse me 8 and 10 at that time, that was just it was kind of disappointing. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that this will definitely be better. The Vance word and the reviews have a very positive tone on this. With Paul Reitman, who is the son of the late director Ivan Reitman, who directed the original Ghostbusters and the Ghostbusters 2. He is back, and he did. I guess from what I'm also hearing on the reviews, that this is a loving tribute to his father and the world he helped to create.
Yeah, that's pretty much that's what I'm reading and hearing. Any chatter, I'm hearing those kinds of things as well. But yeah, it's just not a movie that I'm running to the movie theater to see. There's no reason why. It's just not one that I'm super passionate about, I guess. I'm
No, no
sorry.
worries. I mean, for me, it's hard to become super passionate after Ghostbusters 2, which I saw in the theaters back in the day. I mean, I did go see again, like I said, for my girls because they were really excited to go see the Ghostbusters reboot. We were so hopeful for that. I think that in the house that everybody's not really excited for because we don't want to feel like we got burned twice. I think
Mhm.
it's probably the thing, but we'll see how it lays out. But we'll probably go check it out at some point in time. Like you, kind of wait and seeing and how it will be. But again, the Vance reviews are much better than the reviews for the
Yes.
first Ghostbusters reboot. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't think anything replaced the Ghostbusters animated cartoons. I think those were really well structured and some of the
Mhm.
best cartoons period that was out there as far as storytelling is concerned. I really think that the way that those were laid out, I think that was really something was probably the highlight of all the Ghostbusters lineage, even above the first one. I mean, I would put the Ghostbusters cartoon, the first couple seasons, probably better than anything else in the Ghostbusters lore.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I just
Honestly.
it was really good. So
Mhm.
it is Ghostbusters Afterlife. I hope you get a chance to check it out. And if you do, please share us your thoughts. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Let us know if Ghostbusters Afterlife is worth busting some ghost over. Please let us know. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Well, my friend, there's so much more to talk about on the show, but before we hit the break, Spider-Man No Way Home. Do 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 do
Oh,
do do do
man.
do 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 do.
Mhm.
Man, that kid. Well, he's no longer a kid, but he plays a kid in the movie. He's
Mhm.
really messed things up. messed
Oof.
Doctor Strange's spell up, and my
Oh
gosh,
man.
there's all these monsters that are out to kill him. They're all after him now. I mean, what we saw the lizard, we saw
Goblin.
Sandman, we saw Doctor Octopus, of course, we saw Electro, we saw Green Goblin.
Mhm.
That's five,
Mhm.
but isn't that supposed to be a Sinister Six?
Oh, interesting. Do you suppose Spider-Man is his own worst enemy?
There you go. There could be a Sinister Six right there for you. I don't know
So
what's the
sad.
deal with Venom.
Excuse me while I
Venom may
doctor my Starbucks. Sorry.
no, no worries. Venom is. I'm hoping that's not alcohol.
No, it's not. It's just a little
Okay.
extra caramel
Okay.
syrup.
Okay. All right. I was gonna say, but I'm saying with well, you know what? If it is alcohol, fine. That's you're in your house. You're an adult. You can go ahead and
Yeah.
drink as much as
What
you
day of the
want.
week is it? Welcome to Thursday? Yeah.
And by the time the show is over, this would be one crazy show. That's for sure. But it is Spider-Man No Way Home. The trailer just dropped. It does showcase a lot more as far as what happens and the effects after Peter Parker does a Peter Parker and messes up
Mhm.
the spell. So I want to hear your thoughts. You just checked out the trailer. It's done huge numbers
Yeah.
worldwide as far as viewings are concerned. I want to hear your thoughts on this because really, I mean, with all these monsters coming back, the thought is now that maybe once he learns why that they're there, how they became to be, because they all died, so quote unquote. I don't think Sandman died though. I just think he was captured, but I think that's just me. But uh, maybe I'm incorrect on that. I have to ask our Spider-Man 2 expert, which is Josh Peterson. But now supposedly all of them died and perished fighting Peter Parker. Now he gets a chance to save them.
Oh God, is that what was happening?
That's leading you into that. At least that's what the
Oh damn.
conversations I read from when they're speaking to Doctor Octopus is all about, and also with Doctor
Oh,
Strange
right.
too.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah, I can see that then.
And Doctor
Yeah.
Strange doesn't want them saved and wants to
Right.
send them back.
Right.
Thus the conflict between Peter Parker and Doctor Strange is all about.
Yes. Well, then could Doctor Strange not be your sixth?
Well, there you go. Absolutely. I
Mhm.
wouldn't want him to be the sixth,
No.
and
No, definitely
kind of
not.
powerful there.
Yeah.
So
A little bit.
with all the stuff that's coming out recently, I wonder how they go ahead. Do they go? Does Kevin Feige have like a chart where he rates the power of each one, and he just like rates it like Doctor Strange, or you have Wanda Maximoff above Doctor Strange, or that you have Spider Man here as far as strength is concerned compared to
I
another one.
do
Uh,
not wanna be in that movie while they try to figure out that rating system, or in
okay,
that movie, in that room. I don't wanna be there for that. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? You wanna see grown adults dissolve into hysteria?
yeah.
Try ranking them.
Exactly. Is Luke Cage, where does he fit in this hierarchy? Because they're going to
Yeah.
bring some of these Netflix folks back, and I have a
Mhm.
feeling that many of them are going to matriculate back into this timeline, starting with
Gosh.
Daredevil.
I desperately hope that and I'm oh gosh, I can't believe I can't remember his name. Because he went on to play, the main character in Evil, and I can't remember that character's name either. Anyway, the gentleman who played Luke Cage, I hope he's playing Luke Cage in these movies because he was so good as Luke Cage.
He will probably, if Daredevil comes back, Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin has been rumored to come back.
He was
They've
so good
talked
as
about some
Kingpin.
of the others. I think some of the others, that ones who were successful on the Netflix series, the
Right.
ones who had a following on Netflix will be coming back. Someone like Danny Rand as Iron Fist, no, he ain't coming back.
No,
That'd be
that
a
was
wonderful
so
thing.
bad. Oh
Yeah,
my god,
yeah,
that was
that's what.
excruciating.
And I think the Punisher may or may not come back. My guess is no, because his character's not dizzy enough. It's kind of
Sure.
that
Yeah.
even more adult, more violent
Yeah, that's
than
pretty
maybe
heavy stuff.
Disneyland. Yeah, so maybe it's not. I would like to see him back because he's a great actor, but I don't think. I think maybe he's a. If you put him on the fence, I'd probably say no. But maybe I'd like to be surprised. Hope make that's the case. But getting back to Spider-Man: No Way Home, that iconic shot of all the monsters going after Spider-Man. I know it's been doctored a bit because if you look at Lizard, it looks like he's being hit by something or
Mhm.
something or someone.
Mm-hmm,
So who
mm-hmm.
knows? That could be. Could that be another Spider-Man? One of the Spider-Mans, Andrew Garfield's or Tobey Maguire's? You never know. We'll wait and see on that. But it is very interesting. But as we head into December, in a couple of weeks, Spider-Man will be around the corner. Are you excited about Spider-Man No Way Home?
Yes.
Okay. Coming off, well, the reason why is because Marvel's kind of up in the air right now. We got Hawkeye coming out next week. You've
Mm-hmm.
got actually 2 weeks. You got Hawkeye coming out in 2 weeks. And then you've got what's going on with the Eternals, which has not been, I don't know. I think the audience is more receptive than the critics because the critics obviously roasted this movie, but the audiences seem to like it. I thought it was okay. I actually have already placed it on popculturecosmos.com, my list of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If you want to go check it out, I have it placed in a okay spot. In fact, I have all three of the movies that came out right around each other, to be quite honest with you. But you have to check
Mm-hmm.
out the article to see where it is. But I'm thinking with Spider-Man No Way Home, it's going to like the Eternals. It's being asked to do a lot. Can it deliver?
Sure, sure. Well, you know what? As long as they keep the humor, and then they keep the action, and they keep the action moving forward with some off the cuff little bits of humor in there, you have a Spider-Man movie basically.
Okay.
Honestly, and I'm there for that. I love intense action sequences with some comedic relief. I love that. So, I'm feeling very optimistic about this one.
We're going to have to go together and Scooby Doo this crap. I think
Yes,
it's what,
we
yes.
definitely need to
Yes,
Scooby
in
Doo
the
this.
words of Doctor Strange. Yes, we're going to have to Scooby Doo this. Oh, I'm sorry. Please, we're going to have to Scooby Doo this.
Yes,
I
that's
don't
right.
understand what he meant by
Magic
Scooby
words.
Doo, other than the fact that all kids are together and maybe you should have like a dog walking next to him. Maybe they should talk about a lot of food that they're going to eat. But I'm assuming that that's the case as far as the Scooby Doo reference. So
Yeah,
I'm going to have to go with that because, you have the three kids who are actually adults in real life, but,
which is so
they're
funny.
playing kids.
But
Yeah.
yes.
Yes. So I'm assuming that's what they meant by the Scooby Doo crack. So I'll
Mhm.
leave it at that. But if you have any thoughts out there on your excitement level for Spider Man No Way Home, we would love to hear it. And please share us your thoughts on that, popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Well, my friend, there's so much more to talk about on today's program. When it comes to what we're seeing, I want to make sure mention that Black Friday is around the corner, and on Monday's show, the Pop Culture Cosmos, Josh Peterson and I will be covering Black Friday in detail. And if Belinda has some stuff on Black Friday that she wants to go ahead and share with us tonight, or just give us a feeder on Monday. Let us know.
Mhm.
We'll be more than happy to drop it for you if there's anything you're excited for Black Friday. But we will be talking about that in detail on Monday. One of the things we will also be talking about is Halo Infinite. And the reason why I'm dropping this here because I wanted to go ahead and mention that I would be covering the Xbox at 20 live stream, which was just a patting myself on the back for a half hour live stream. Really, I
Right.
understand that they said there would be no new game announcements. I think it was a missed opportunity because it was so heavily publicized, but it was like, oh, memories of the past 20 years. It's great. I love how they glossed over and they didn't say much about the launch of the Xbox One, which was a major disaster, but need I digress. And then also the Red Rings of Death for the Xbox 360, but need I
Oh gosh.
digress.
Yeah,
Yes,
that too. Yeah, I had a couple of those in my day.
yes, you and I both. So I will I will talk that the only two major announcements that they did make from there was one that they added 70 plus titles for backwards compatibility. So if you want to go ahead and check out, we posted an article on that on the Facebook page for Pop Culture Cosmos. So if you want to check out, and also good game source as well. If you want to check out which titles will now work on your newer consoles from the old past of Xbox 360 and also original Xbox. Go ahead and check that out. But I think the other major news, which was probably the biggest news, was that Halo Infinite's free to play multiplayer segment that they actually partitioned off from the full game, the single player adventure, which is still yet to come out, which will be coming out in the first week of December. That was released to the public. they're saying it's a beta, but it's actually just like a launch. It's just like a regular launch that it's out now. It's not a beta. They're saying it's a beta, but it's actually season one underway, and people are excited for it. I got a chance to check it out. I will have more impressions, and I know Josh will on Monday. But Halo Infinite's multiplayer free to play concept. This is a new idea, and I think I kind of like what I'm seeing so far.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm a big fan of, and I know that I don't want to begrudge anybody paid what they are worth, but sometimes when you're really amped up about a game and you're not even getting a being able to play these games. And I know of people that go into making a video game, I understand that it's hours and hours and hours and hours of playtime. Once in a while, give us that free thing. So I'm glad to hear that Halo is the one that's doing it.
Yeah, and they're following in the path of Call of Duty Warzone,
Mhm.
Apex Legends. There's the success layer for free to play games, allowing you the opportunity to go for microtransactions if you so choose, is out there now. So that's what Xbox is going to do with this, with Xbox Halo Infinite. So I'm excited for it. Again, we'll have more impressions on the Monday show, but I really like the fact that they're actually going ahead and doing it. So if you have thoughts on Xbox's Halo Infinite launch of their multiplayer free to play platform, I am positive on it. It's 10 maps that they put out there, different variant types. I love the fact that get me some more capture the flag. I love some big team battle. I love oddball. I love all those great variants that they have there. So if you're interested in this, the Halo Infinite multiplayer, and if before we gets into season one and the battle pass, I know there's been some issue with the battle pass, but hey, so far so good as far as the actual gameplay, and that's where it counts most. So if you have thoughts on Halo Infinite's multiplayer free to play adventure, please let us know. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. I wanted to ask you real quick though. I wanted to say the rest of that fact leading up to the half hour for Star Trek Discovery season 4. Okay,
Mhm.
because I know you had some concerns before we went on the air. Star Trek Discovery season 4 has also dropped this week. It returns us to the world of, or the universe of Star Trek once again. I know that to me, I'm really grown to really enjoy Star Trek Discovery because I think it was a little bit uneven in the first season, but it's
Yeah.
grown to really become solid where they have the season story arc that lasts for the entire season and gets solved in a nice neat little package by the end of the season. But what they're doing, and now that they're, because they're still far in the future even for them at this point in time, but I really like what I'm seeing from Star Trek Discovery.
It's a great show. And once you got past the Klingons in the first season, like once you got past that arc, it was great from then on. And that pains me to say because I'd love me some Klingons. I think they're hysterical and I think they're wonderful. But anyway, yes, Star Trek Discovery. If you haven't been watching it because you got a bad taste in your mouth for like the first, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 episodes of Discovery when it first launched, go back and give it another shot. I don't think that you're going to be disappointed at all.
I'd start with season 2 personally.
Okay, you can start with season 2. I say go back and just catch maybe the last couple of episodes of that Klingon arc in the first season and then move on from there.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I think like season 3 really gelled. Season
Mhm.
2 was really good as well. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Star Trek Discovery as it heads into season 4. I want to talk about though, you had some issues and concerns with Star Trek as a whole and reaching a broader audience.
Yeah. So one of the things that's really hard about being a Star Trek fan is being a Star Trek fan. And that's because Star Trek doesn't really seem to like its fans very much sometimes. And if what I've read is happening and I'm understanding it properly, they're making it even more challenging. So it's not enough to have it on Paramount Plus, which is not available all over the world. So you take it from all of these, regular cable services, and you put it solely on Paramount Plus. you're not putting it on Netflix anymore. And I understand you want to build your audience and stuff like that for Paramount Plus. I get that, but um you're just making it harder for people to find and discover Star Trek. And that's frustrating. So frustrating. Why do you hate your
I can
fans, Star
tell.
Trek? Why?
Well, and on top of that, last week they coyly mentioned, or probably kind of discreetly mentioned, that Star Trek, the movie, whatever fashion or form it's going to be, it has been delayed 6 months, and it went from the summer movie to the winter movie in December. So, which is giving it a lower chance of success because it's going to be in a jam-packed month where probably a lot of other movies are headed out too. So, in the summer, it kind of spaces itself out. You know, you get a little bit better choices there. But yeah, all right. So here we go again. But
It just feels like over and over and over again they're making bad decisions because they don't expect things to go well, and then it just becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because they're making it difficult for their fans to find and discover and enjoy their product, and it's incredibly frustrating.
I agree. I agree. Now, there is some good signs for Paramount Plus. They did last week. They announced yesterday that they actually increased their subscribership by 1 million viewers in the past week. So they got
Mhm.
that's a big gain for any outlet to do in
Of
such a
course.
short amount of time. I know that's not just because of Star Trek Discovery. I know that there was the Adele special on there. I think that probably had
Yes.
something to do with it. Mayor of Kingstown. I know that they've got upcoming the South Park special. I know they've got also the Yellowstone prequel 1883 that's coming up as well. So I know that all the stuff that's coming up on Paramount Plus is making more enticing, and now it's starting to live up to the prophecy that it gave you back in February when it did that massive ad campaign during the Super Bowl and took up all that time for the Super Bowl. And obviously, it was on CBS. That really helps that. But you're getting the CBS programming, and all, that's going also as well to Paramount Plus the next day for all their CBS shows. So Paramount Plus is becoming more of a good value with each and every day. So that's good to see. But I still agree in agreement with you. I mean, showcasing your number one Star Trek show on a platform like Netflix around the world, I think probably would have been more beneficial if you kept it out there for maybe another year, maybe two, until you have Paramount Plus on more countries around the world. Because right now they're in 25 countries and they're expected to get to 45 countries by the end of the year. Really, you aren't talking about an international outlet until you get over 100 countries, I would probably say. And that's
Right.
probably not until the end of 2022 at the earliest.
Yeah, I saw a lot of memes yesterday with Captain Picard dressed up as a pirate. So take from that what you will.
Yes. So I know a lot of people are very upset about that, like you are. And then, of
Yeah.
course, the movie itself being delayed from summer 2023 to December 2023. Maybe just the first of many delays for that movie. We'll see what happens there. So it's getting harder to be a Star Trek fan unless you're a subscriber to Paramount Plus. But if you are, Star Trek Discovery is setting out on another season long mission. What will that be? You got to go ahead and check it out. I will have some thoughts during the course of the season. I know Melinda as will as well when she gets a chance. So hopefully you will have a chance to as well to go ahead and check out Star Trek Discovery season 4. And if you have thoughts on Star Trek Discovery season 4, please share us your thoughts. I've been trying to get people into this, Melinda, for now 2 years
I
since
know.
season 2.
I know.
Season 1, again, this is, you could take for what you want out of it. Season 2, I've been really getting people on board, and season 3, I really thought highly of as well. So season 4, please, if you get a chance, jump on board now, beam up, be a part of
Mhm.
the action. Star Trek Discovery season 4. I really think that people should give it a chance right now on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, you know the gif of the little girl who's, I believe she's, like, in a pile of leaves, and she's kicking her feet on the ground, and she's just having a temper tantrum? That's how it feels right now to be a Star Trek fan.
That's one way to say it. That is one way to say it, indeed. But
Come
yes, if
on!
you have thoughts, well, okay. So start. What I mean, if you were running the Star Trek, pantheon as far as
Yeah.
right now, I mean, I understand about the movies because the movies have never been a big seller at the box office. Even the much
Absolutely.
beloved Star Trek reboot, which is one of the most watched movies over the next decade on
Mhm.
cable, because it's
Mhm.
been replayed to death and has become a big favorite for cable outlets to rerun that movie time and time again. So everybody has seen that. I get that. But they
Yeah.
waited until it landed on cable. Then you had the successor movies, Into Darkness, which I think is the most successful of the movies on that, as far as from the box office, which everybody chides me on, and as far as my affection for that movie. And then Star Trek, the last one that came out, that one came out in 2016. But still, we're talking still under $500 million worldwide, which for all these movies is kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, what does Star Trek do before we head on to the break to gain that new audience?
I think that they need, I mean, I understand that
More Klingons?
their goal isn't, yeah, more Klingons. Their goal right now isn't to bring new fans to Star Trek. Their goal right now is to bring Star Trek fans to Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
That's it. That's their goal. And that's frustrating because we have all of those new Star Trek cartoons that are coming out now, ones that are tailored for towards kids, which Lower Decks is not so much. Um but
But Star
that,
Trek Prodigy, you're talking about, which is
yes.
also on Nickelodeon, which is also on Nickelodeon, which I think is a really
Mhm.
good idea for initiating kids into the universe of Star Trek. And I really liked the show. I caught the first episode. I really, really liked it.
Okay, so who is the person that made that decision? Because that person should be listened to a lot more.
I'm not sure. I'm
You
assuming
know
it's
what
the
I
head
mean
of
though? Like,
Paramount, the Viacom Paramount, CBS, that love train that's there, because they're all
yeah.
intermixed with each other. So, and then Nickelodeon's part of that, Comedy
Mhm.
Central, they're all part of that love fest there. So, I'm
Yeah.
assuming the higher ups on that.
Yeah, but it's so hard to, I mean, you have Star Wars and they were bought by Disney, and look at all of this incredible stuff. And I mean, I don't want to say that it's probably the most popular that Star Wars has ever been, but it's definitely the most accessible Star Wars has ever been. And I just can't wrap my brain around why they continue to make Star Trek so difficult to find and enjoy and consume.
Because Star Trek is always like the kid brother to the big sister or big brother that is Star Wars. It just seems like that's always the case, and Paramount just says, "Okay, yeah, we got this. It's good, but we're not going to go ahead and showcase it," even though Paramount has the accessibility to do so, and to do so on a larger scale. I mean, they had the deal with Netflix. They decided to walk away from it, and then now you see what's going on with the movies. So I don't
I
know.
know. How is Captain Picard going to lull me into a
And they
sleep when
have
I have
CBS. They
insomnia?
have CBS. Why isn't Discovery a regular part of the CBS lineup? Instead,
This
you want to show the
Yes.
NCISs, FBI's, and all
Yes.
that stuff, those
Yes.
procedural crime dramas all day,
Yes.
all week long. Why can't you save a good hour for Star Trek Discovery?
Exactly. Why can't you put Picard on for that matter?
Picard's not as good
Oh,
a
stop.
show.
Picard is fine. Don't you dare. Don't you dare, Mr. Glassford.
First season was kind of up and down as well.
Oh,
Well, maybe it's
hush you, hush. No, but seriously, like why are you making it, why are you putting up more and more and more hoops for people to jump through just to be able to enjoy a show? I don't understand. Why are you making it difficult? Why does it have to be hard to find Star Trek?
I don't know. I can't tell you. I'm not one of the higher ups at Paramount. I worked across the street from Paramount, but that's the closest I've ever been to that kind of decision making with Star Trek.
I'm going to write a strongly worded letter. I'm going to put it in the mail with a
Okay. Oh,
stamp,
wow.
and it will
Old school.
definitely get opened and read.
All right. I'm hoping, or maybe. Well, are you sure? In
Yeah,
the age of
I
trying
know.
to save the environment by shredding that up, you never
Yeah,
know.
right, right.
Might go, oh, a
It'll end
letter,
up, yeah, it'll end up the lining of somebody's hamster cage, I'm sure. But
something like that.
yeah, or the next time we chat, maybe I'll be chatting with you from my office at Paramount.
I hope that's the latter and not the former. But it is Star Trek Discovery Season 4 hitting Paramount Plus. If you have caught it and had some thoughts, please share it with us. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, my friend, there's so much more to talk about on the back half of the show. Once again, it's Gerald Glassford along with my good friend, Miss Melinda Barkhouse. Please check out all the action-packed stuff that she's doing for the number one tabletop RPG streamer on Facebook, including Vampires and Vitae. I can't do the noise this week because you said it doesn't sound like a vampire. I'll do that instead.
Yeah.
And
No,
then you have
you need
also
some
as well,
fava beans and a Chianti. Excuse me, and
yes,
a Chianti for that.
whiskey and wine. You've got excuse me, obviously you got Warlocks and Whiskey, Wizards and Wine. You've got Rob's Whimsically One Shot. You've got all these things she's a part of, and of course our imminent destruction in the Demolition Force on Mondays, which we're probably about ready to go ahead and have because Roger is intent on
Yeah.
killing us.
No,
But you,
actually, Maddie's still doing pretty good. I'm still up over 100 health, so I'm okay.
yeah,
Oh, we're not supposed to talk about our hit points anymore, but
well, we
that's
can't. That's
between you and me.
that's on Mondays, yes,
Yeah.
between you and me and the audience. But
Yeah.
Shama Khan's not feeling so good. That's all I'll
Oof.
say right now.
Yeah.
He's close to his death after a year. Could that happen? We'll find out Mondays on the Demolition Force. But yes, check out all of our tabletop games because we're the tabletop RPG leader on Facebook streaming. So check it out today, Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook. But there is still so much more to talk about on today's program, Melinda. I wanted to ask you this. Tiger King 2 dropped this week on Netflix, and the buzz and the excitement that was last year when it was the talk of the early part of the pandemic, when everybody was
Mm-hmm.
in their houses and couldn't go anywhere and they had to check out something, and Tiger dropped like a gift out of the sky for a lot of people, and they just absolutely loved it. I wasn't in love with it. I thought it was, as far as the docu series, thought it was okay. I thought there were better docu series I watched last year. I know that everybody loved the shock and awe of everything that was going on with Joe Exotic and all that. So I want to hear your thoughts on this. Tiger King 2 is not coming out to that type of how should I say, acclaim or that type of interest this time around. I think a lot of it is because of the fact that, well, Joe Exotic is kind of behind bars, and Carol Baskin is suing to have any kind of footage of her on the show.
Yeah, it's definitely I just don't know.
Not presented on the show, I should say.
Yeah, I don't understand what is left of the story to tell other than all of these people with all of these animals and their collapse. I'm not interested in watching season 2. I'm
I
sorry.
agree with
I'm
you.
so sorry. I'm just
I
not
agree.
interested at all. The
Yeah, I
first
don't think.
season, it was just like it just kept getting like more and more wild. It like you'd be
Yeah,
like, okay, this has to be the last episode, and it wouldn't be the last episode. And you'd be like, okay, this has to be the last episode, and then something wild would happen, and it would just kept getting more and more unbelievable as you're watching it. I don't think that season 2 is going to offer that same kind of thing, and I'm not in a hurry to watch it.
yeah, exactly. And without Carol Baskin and Joe Exotic on the sidelines for obvious reasons, Carol Baskin, not wanting to be a part of it after the picture they portrayed of her, and obviously the allegations of her previous husband and how he died and the mysterious circumstances there. I don't think she would want to be a willing party. I'm not defending what she's doing or defending, that's just her deal is her deal. It's just, I don't blame her, but it takes a lot of the mystery and it takes a lot of the interest, I know, for a lot of people out of it, because she was such a diversive individual as far as people, just appreciating her or really hating her guts.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it depended on where you fell with Joe Exotic, really.
Yeah.
Kind of formed your opinion on Carol Baskin.
Well, these were all messed up people, in my
Oh,
opinion.
100%.
And I think that's what why people found the charm in this series and why people were talking about it. And like you said, it kept on getting crazier and crazier, which was the true charm of the series. And
Mhm.
whether or not you want to stick with it this time around, I think that again, it will probably not have the same charm because, like you said, where is it really going to go? Some of the individuals have already passed away.
Yes.
Your main star is behind bars. Your other main star is not going to allow for any footage to be shown on it. Where is there really for this series to go?
I I don't have an answer for you. Gosh, will it be curiosity that leads me to watch a couple of episodes?
I bet.
No, no. Am I going to
Uh,
put it on and just go, okay, let's just see what they're up to? Oh, no. They got me, Gerald. They got me.
Sucked right in.
Yeah, no, I don't plan on watching it. That doesn't mean I'm not going to, but I don't plan to.
But see, that's the thing with Netflix. Netflix now
Mhm.
has content that they can go ahead and IPs that they can go ahead and base future projects off of. But they still bring out enough original content. This is something I argue about with Disney Plus and Disney Plus Day with Josh on Monday. Is that okay? Disney Plus had all these things coming out, over 60 projects in the works, and that are coming out within the next supposedly 2 years, and a lot of them, almost actually the overwhelming majority, were based off of previous IP.
Yes.
Okay, and that's great and all, but you have to really enjoy the previous IP in order to go ahead and want to watch what's coming up as far as the rehashed or new versions of whatever scene. Like Home Sweet Home Alone, you have to really like the Home Alone franchise, and then Home Sweet Home Alone came out, and it's really not being loved by people and critics alike. But we won't
Mhm.
go into that one. Maybe you'll see that on the worst of 2021 coming up here next month. But I will say that with Netflix, they have so much original content they're throwing out. It can be good, it can be bad. Good was like Tick Tick Boom is coming out to pretty good reviews so far. Then you have Red Notice, which isn't coming out to good reviews, but a ton of people are watching it. It is
Yeah.
one of the most watched movies ever on Netflix, even though, again, it's not coming out to great reviews. But still, you got to give them credit for just throwing out content. And Tiger King 2 is now the sequel to their most popular, well, one of their most popular docu-series ever. And I think that that's a good move for them. They're just throwing out stuff out there. They got He-Man and the Masters of the Universe next week coming out. That the part, the second part of the season that they're doing with Kevin Smith, and it's just they've got a lot of stuff on the way. They've got Cowboy Bebop on the way that I know a lot of people are
Yes,
excited
that's
for as
Friday, isn't
well.
it?
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
coming out as well. So I mean, they've got a ton of stuff that you can always talk about that's original, that's fresh, that's new. And then you have stuff like Tiger King 2 that they based off of a familiar project that they did last year. They're just starting to go into the well of what they have as far as IPs that they've already come up with. I mean, with Disney, it's already like they already have their hands in it and they forgot to do anything original. So
Yeah.
I'm of the fact that right now Netflix is going to stay ahead for at least for the foreseeable future, simply because of the fact that they have so much different things out there to showcase to people,
Yeah. I agree.
even
And
if it
I
is Tiger King 2.
Yeah. Yes. And gosh, it's looking more and more, the more I think of it, the more I will probably watch at least one episode, which means I'll probably end up watching the whole season.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, why did you do that to me, Mr. Glassford?
Yeah, I'm not trying to be, as persuasive to you as maybe Rob is on occasion, maybe with, asking for some Starbucks there.
Yeah.
Although I see you're not sharing any Starbucks with him. So,
No.
see, there you go. There you
No.
go. A loving wife you are. Yes.
Hey, you know what? Everybody has a line.
Okay. The Starbucks is, I guess, for you. Shh. Don't tell Rob. Don't tell
Yeah.
Rob.
It's a very small line, let's be honest.
Okay, fair
Yeah.
enough indeed. But it is Tiger King 2. It is now available on Netflix. We want to hear your thoughts. Are you still as excited for Tiger King 2, watching through it? Are you still excited to see the shock and awe of Tiger King 2? Where does this where does Tiger King really have to go in season 2? We want to hear your thoughts. Popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. There's still a little bit more to talk about on today's program when it comes to Battlefield 2042, which is this week's one of two major video game releases, just in time for the holidays and just in time for Black Friday, which, again, for me is one of the most important times for a video game to come out because of the fact it's the busiest shopping day of the year, and et cetera, et cetera. and why wouldn't you go ahead and put it out just before then? But
Yeah,
tell
it's
that to my.
silly. It's silly for you to wait until after Black Friday to put out a
Oh,
new
you
game.
like putting it out a week after
Yeah.
December? Like
Why?
Microsoft Halo
Why?
Infinite.
Why do you do those things?
I
It's
that
silly.
just it's beyond me. But
Yeah.
instead, you bring out the free to play multiplayer version of it before Black Friday. But need I
That's just
digress?
smart.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe they still need to make some money off those microtransactions. But when it
Yes.
comes to Battlefield 2042, dropped this past week, and like Call of Duty, even though this is not a yearly, every year we're giving you a new Battlefield rendition like they did in the past. They did it one time, they were doing yearly, but now they've kind of gone every 2 years.
Yeah.
Now, Battlefield 2042 has come out. It is still as big as ever with 128 player chaos maps that are out there. I actually like
Yes.
being in the middle of chaos between 128 players. Yes,
Oh
I
my
know it means
gosh.
a lot of quick deaths,
Yeah.
but just the
Yeah.
just
Sorry.
just the fact that you could play against 127 other people, that always intrigues me. I
Yeah.
don't know. How
Yeah.
about you?
I just don't last long enough in those games. I'm so bad at first person shooters. And if you drop me in the middle of chaos of 127 other people, I'm just not I'm just going to respawn. I'm just going to respawn the whole time. I'm not going to get a chance to even move. So, womp
Easy
womp.
headshots for snipers.
Yes, yeah. I definitely help other people's records, that's for sure.
But the great thing about Battlefield 2042 and the great thing about the Battlefield series that has diversifies itself a little bit better than, let's say, Call of Duty is the fact that you can utilize vehicles in this game or in the series of games a lot differently. And the fact that, in the past, you've been able to jump onto jets, planes,
Hmm.
helicopters. You can have literal dogfights on the map above what
Yeah.
everybody's doing on the ground, which is to me an even bigger, fascination. I remember my times playing Battlefield 3, and I really had a lot of fun with it. And then you have the destruction factor. If you still have, the skyscrapers. I remember being on a skyscraper one time as the skyscraper was falling down in the middle of it. And it's like, falling down with the skyscraper, having to jump off. And pull my shoe at the last second. So that
Yeah.
those kind of thrills that you have in Battlefield are really good. One of the things that they're doing that is good is that they're introduced a portal mode, which brings back a lot of the assets from many of the other previous Battlefield games.
Oh.
Battlefield Bad Company, Battlefield 1942, Battlefield, all these different Battlefield games from the past that I think was really a smart move because a lot of people are gravitating towards it because they want to recreate their own games, their own setups, utilizing all these different Battlefield assets from the past.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. What a great idea. Again, who made that decision? Because they should be making more decisions.
They should be getting a raise at EA.
Uh-huh.
I know at Activision though, they're kind of they're all over their CEO right now. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
they
thing.
are.
Yeah,
Oof.
yeah, that guy's a piece of work. That's all I'll say.
Mhm.
Yeah, he has been for years. I mean, this is something that has not been a secret in the industry about Bobby Kotick and Activision. But
Yeah.
I digress on
It's
that.
too
But
bad because it turns out I like a lot of Activision games randomly.
yeah, I mean, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, of course, it's not stopping their success. Call of Duty
Mm.
Vanguard came out. I'm sure it sold a ton of copies. I know a lot of people are still excited for some of the things that they do. They are not the big entity outside of Call of Duty that they once were. I think that, but still, when you've got the number one franchise that's out there, that's still you can go ahead and base a lot of your volume and your sales off of that. I mean,
Yeah.
Blizzard, part of it is still Blizzard, so I know that they still got a lot of things to going for them as well. But yes, this Battlefield is something we're excited to go ahead and get into possibly because Battlefield 2042 is now out and about. It's getting solid reviews, not super great, but solid reviews. There is no campaign, which I'm kind of disappointed on, but I'm not saying I'm not going to say I'm surprised because if you want to cut anything out, God forbid you cut out the interesting storyline and production details and things of that nature on that. You just stick right to the multiplayer. But your final thoughts on Battlefield 2042 before we head on out.
Even though I'm terrible at first person shooters, I could see me picking up this game. I've enjoyed previous Battlefield games, even though I'm terrible at them. There's something to be said for Stick to itiveness.
Mm-hmm. Stick to
Um,
itiveness. I like that.
it's a good word, right? Just made it up. You can use it if you want. But but no, I could see myself picking up this game and playing it just because of previous editions of Battlefield and how much I enjoyed playing them despite being terrible.
Hopefully, they'll have the golf cart from Battlefield Bad Company, I think it was, that you could go ahead and drive around while you're getting shot at and things of that nature. So,
Yeah. I always
uh,
I managed to get into a helicopter I think 2 or 3 times, and that was I think the most fun I think I've ever had in a video game for some reason. I really
there you
enjoyed.
go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember one time I was playing, and then I think somebody was trying to ram me with a jet. So I'm running along the ground, and all of a sudden I see this jet like falling right next to me. I'm like, what the? And I
Yeah.
think he was actually targeting me with his jet.
No, I
He
think that
wasn't
was
trying to
me.
shoot me. He
I
was
think
trying
that
to
was
run
me.
into me.
I think I did that.
Oh, watch out. Okay. All right. I see how it
I'm
is.
just kidding.
Okay.
It definitely wasn't me, but it
Okay.
might be me the next time you play.
Oh my gosh. I have been duly warned indeed. But if you got thoughts out there on Battlefield 2042, watch out for Melinda though if you're
Yeah,
playing.
right? Yeah.
Please let us know. Popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, before we head on out, a couple last things we want to talk about. And the first thing is, speaking of video games, because we're still on that subject, and that is Pokemon. You want to go ahead and talk about the latest rendition, the latest Nintendo going back in the archives to shine up, put a nice little shine, as many gaming companies love to do now, and bring back their old properties. Pokemon Pearl and Diamond with what Brilliant Pearl and Shining Diamond, or the other way around, or whatever they're calling it these days. So that has come out. I'll think of the title. I'll get the title here in a sec. But it is
I
come
believe in
out
you.
to the Nintendo Switch. And the Nintendo Switch is something we don't talk about enough on the show because even though it has sold a ton of units, it's still something that does not get a plethora of first party games to it, I think. And for something that's established and has been established for over, 3 years now, I'm really
Mhm.
kind of surprised that there's not more first party games to this platform.
Yeah, I agree. It seems like a lost opportunity.
Yes.
That's
I
it.
think it
That's
is.
all.
Yeah, I think it's a lost opportunity for them. But again, people are still buying it. I know they've got the new OLED Switch that they're coming out with, which I don't think is a big, huge upgrade. So I'm not gonna. I'm gonna be skipping that. Got my regular old Switch right here. It is Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. The Pokemon franchise, I am never going to underestimate it. As soon as Pokemon Go came out and that became the sensation of the entire world,
Yes.
I think that showcased exactly to everyone out there how beloved the Pokemon franchise was. And this is something when I was running my game stores that people would just want to trade and buy Pokemon all the time as far as that's concerned. I know a lot of people were talking about fighting Pokemon all the time and trying to meet up to go ahead and play against each other. And I know
Yeah.
this was something that was still a big focus in their lives. Pokemon should never be underestimated. So I don't want to say that Pokemon, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are going to not sell well because I have a feeling just because it has that Pokemon name slapped on the front. And I will tell you that the original Diamond and Pearl sold very well for us back in the day. I'm assuming that this time, it's been given a nice new coat of paint and things have been added, features been made more friendly for the Nintendo Switch. I have a feeling it's still going to sell strong this time around.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I mean, what Pokemon Go was able to do for people who for example didn't like leaving their houses and stuff like that, all of a sudden they were leaving the house and going for a walk around the neighborhood and getting some fresh air. Sometimes they forgot to look up when crossing in a crosswalk, and that was a bit of an issue for a little while with Pokemon Go.
Whoops.
Yeah, but I think that if it was able to do that for people who prefer time inside by themselves, don't like to go outside, yeah, there's no reason to ever underestimate Pokemon, and I can't see this being anything but successful.
I still remember driving around Las Vegas for my girls playing Pokemon Ghost just so we could stop at the sign just to get the the specials. I remember me driving around Sam's Town, which is nearby me here,
Yep.
the hotel and casino, which a lot of wrestling organizations, smaller ones, actually go ahead and have their shows from. And we used to drive around and around and
Hmm.
around to try and keep on getting the specials at the various points in time where you can. And I didn't even have to leave the car. I didn't have to leave the van. We would just go ahead and just type stop. They get it. Okay, Dad, you can go. And then stop. Okay, Dad, you can go. And keep on going from there.
Yeah.
So good
Yeah.
memories indeed. We didn't, walk off a cliff playing Pokemon Go, mind you. But again, Pokemon is Brilliant Diamond, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. It is out and available on the Nintendo Switch. I don't think it's going to sell as well as the first rendition of what they brought out the other 2 years ago. Which they brought out a revision first of one of their older Pokemon games, and that really sold well. I think this is going to sell well, but I think that people are looking for more things from Nintendo Switch. This will sell well, but I don't think it'll sell quite as well as they think.
Really? You're
Yeah, it's just
doubting
the fact that I
on
think that people are wanting something new. I love my daughter. My daughter, for instance, she's a huge Nintendo Switch fan. She's thinking about it, but last time around when the previous reiteration of the Pokemon series came to the Nintendo Switch, she was much more into that. We went out, we got, we got it. It was just really something that she wanted to go ahead and get. And this time around, she's not as enthusiastic on it. And I'm getting that kind of vibe that people are probably going to get it
Sure.
just because it's new, but yeah,
Yeah.
not at the same rate as what they did once before. I think maybe it's starting a telling sign that maybe Nintendo Switch is starting to fade in the era of PS5 and Xbox Series.
Yeah, maybe. That could be the answer. Telling you they need some of that OC.
OC, OC, man. Well, they need to go out and bring out a new console. Is what I think they need to do.
Well,
But that's
okay, if you want to go that far, but yeah.
no, they won't. They won't. It's going to be a little while. I think they're going to try and stretch out the Nintendo Switch for even more years to come. But
Yeah, I think so.
Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl is now available. I think it'll still do well. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I think it'll still do well, but comparative to other titles previously in the Nintendo Switch line, it may not do as well. But we want to hear your thoughts. Are you excited for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl? Please share us your thoughts. PopCultureCosmos@yahoo.com. My friend, it's been a great episode. I cannot thank you enough, as always, for being a part of it. But before we head on out, Survivor Series, WWE
Yes.
Survivor Series is around the corner. It's actually happening this weekend. And I wanted to talk about the show itself. It's not quite what it used to be. Back in the day, it used to feature a world championship match. And then the undercard used to be those famous four-on-four tag matches, or if it was like a 5-on-5 or a tag team match, like a 10-man match or whatnot. It used to be something that used to be very interesting to see. And they'll have one of these matches on the card that they're going to have to do a Survivor Series team match. But the rest of the matches are filled up with non-title champion versus champion matches, which to me
Oh,
is the
that's not
most,
fun.
that they're the most unexciting
Yeah,
things in the world, because you want, when you have a champion go against another champion, you want them to go ahead and have an actual match to go ahead and decide and merge into one title.
absolutely. Yes, I
It's
agree. It should be like a ladder match or a anything goes, no holds barred match or something.
Yeah, it's just really kind of depressing to see what's going to go on with this, because the fact that it's like there's no excitement or interest in it, because the fact that they're not wrestling for anything.
Yes.
They're non-title matches, so it's
Yeah.
really not there's just no, there's no intrigue, there's no really just things to get excited for, amped up for. There's no real, how shall I say, there's no real outcome for you if you win or lose. There's nothing that you're really, really, having to go ahead and worry about. Oh, my title's up on the line. No, it isn't. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
It's not worry. There's no need to worry about it. So I'm kind of disappointed on that. But again, the biggest thing though that might be on the line is the fact that we might see a very uncooperative match, uncooperative match, and it might be very interesting to watch in the Raw versus SmackDown Women's Championship match.
Oh,
That's a
is this the one that
non-title
you
match.
alluded to in the beginning?
Yes, this is
Okay,
the
let's go
cat
on. Tell
fight
me
that
about
may happen.
a cat fight that may happen. These
Well,
women are athletes, Gerald.
okay, these women are. You're right. These women are athletes indeed. They're
Yes,
great athletes, and don't get me
of
wrong.
course. Yeah,
And in fact, right now, I'd say the women's division is probably exceeding the men's division when it concerns the WWE right now. I definitely like that, but this is getting some pretty thick stuff going on behind the scenes because it is now out there, and now out there, with all the news media outlets that excuse me, um, Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch, once former friends behind the scenes, no
right.
matter what their storylines were played out and who was champion and who was not, now cannot stand each other, which can create an environment where if you're having a match that you're supposed to work together on,
Yeah.
can be the worst thing in the world or the most interesting thing in the world, depending on how it lays itself out.
And that grin on your face tells me you're leaning towards interesting.
I'm leaning or interesting because these girls have not only it's just this rumors behind the scenes.
Sure.
It's now come to the point where they've also talked about it on radio shows. They've talked about it on media appearances. Becky Lynch has gone repeatedly in regards to her thoughts on her deterioration in the friendship between her and Charlotte Flair in recent weeks, in the past days.
Right.
She's commented on it, and Charlotte Flair has also made comments on it as well. And her father, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, has
Yep.
also made comments on this as far as him injecting. And of course, he's going to interject on the side of Charlotte Flair. And
Of
he's
course.
going to rip on Black, Becky Lynch on it and her success. And Becky Lynch and her success has been great to see, and it's been at times before she got pregnant, it was really meteoric as far as how she was going, and her fan base was there. She's now a bad guy, a heel per se, a bad girl heel per se, and her persona. Although Charlotte Flair, you could say her persona as well is also kind of like a bad girl as a heel. So you have these two individuals who in real life don't like each other, both play villains, both are heading into this. Again, it's a non-title match, which to me, all these unification matches should happen. I'm so tired of seeing this Monday champion against this Friday champion in a non-title match. Why don't we just go ahead and make this one WWE champion again for all these
Yeah.
different titles? But that's just me.
Agreed. Yeah.
I'm just I'm just very I'm not excited at all about this Survivor Series because that until you get to Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair.
So that's the one, huh? Are you gonna pony up for the pay-per-view?
Well, you could just check it out on Peacock.
Oh, okay, fair. Yeah.
You don't
All
have to
right.
pay for it on pay per view. You can. I'm sure the WWE would like you to spend that kind of $50 and $60, but getting Peacock is a whole lot cheaper.
That's how long it's been since I've watched a Survivor series.
And that's part of the problem because they're trying to bring you back. I mean, right
Yeah.
now they have trouble. They have a lot of trouble on their Monday and Friday shows of keeping 2 million viewers. Now they don't have the base that's declining enough to where they have to worry about AEW yet as an entity because AEW is still struggling to stay around a million themselves. But when you see your base falling below 2 million viewers each and every week for each of your shows, that's kind of a concern if you're WWE. This is an entity that once way back in the day had 6-7 million viewers watching your programs.
Yeah, I was one of them. Me and no. My college my radio school class used to
Mhm.
get together to watch Monday Night Raw. Religiously. We would all go to somebody's house and we would watch Monday Night Raw. That was a big thing. It was
Let
a
me
huge
guess, it was during the
thing.
late 90s.
It was, yeah, it would have been like 98, 99, 2000 would have been in
Funny
there.
how that is. It's the Attitude Era, which was the
Yeah.
best time for WWE storytelling, and obviously the best time because of the fact that Steve Austin was there, Rock was there. Rock
Yeah.
was gaining a stardom. Steve Austin was huge, and his battles against the probably the most iconic wrestling villain of all time, in Mr. McMahon, was
Yes.
really something that was something to behold each and every week. And there was always some type of new variation or new flip new fold into this type of atmosphere that could really was created during that time. And I know a lot of people are very nostalgic over the Attitude Era. I know that's when a lot of people were watching the
Yes.
WWE at that time. And
Yeah.
I don't know if the Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch drama behind the scenes will actually play itself out to more viewers. I think it probably will gain a little bit more interest because of that. Because again, if you're looking at the show on the card, all these 4 or 5 non-title matches, champion versus champion, that does
Yeah, that's
nothing
that's
for
not a
me.
main event show. That's
No,
a
that does nothing for
that's a
me.
Monday
That's
Night Raw.
yeah, because there's nothing on the line. There's nothing at all.
Exactly.
If what's the big deal?
Yeah, there's nothing to win, there's nothing to lose.
And
So
if you
why?
do lose, on that show, on the show, you lose to the Monday champion loses to the Friday champion. That makes your championship reign less enthusiastic to viewers out there. It just
Yeah.
it does no one any good right now that they're not what they're doing. So again, that's just a rant for another day. But yes, the WWE Survivor Series is coming this weekend. Catch it for free or whatever you're paying for Peacock. Please go ahead and do that because spending the $60, I don't know if it's worth it. I really don't, unless
I
you're
hear that.
really intrigued on a behind the scenes coming to life between Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch, which I'm very intrigued in seeing. I might have to catch it. I
You
might
know
have to.
what, Gerald? I've never really looked into it because I've like obviously apparently a couple of million other people just kind of stopped watching
We're
wrestling.
talking about 4 or 5 million people that stopped
Yeah.
watching it.
So I wonder how much they're doing on like each individual wrestler's like social media. Do they have TikToks where they're trash talking each other? That would be entertaining and that would be a way to bring in new viewers.
They do to an extent, but it's because the fact that so many people know. In fact, the entire public out there knows that
It's
the
not
veil
real.
has been lifted. It's not real. It's
Yeah,
choreographed. It's
sure. But still, a good story is a good story, whether it's pre-rehearsed or not.
and I would
So
say that that's the case. It's just waiting for the whole wrestling industry is waiting for that one mercurial individual to come back and a great storyline to follow that individual, whether it's man or woman. And
yeah.
so people will get behind it. I think a lot of people get behind it. I think that's what it will take because right now I don't think we have it in the industry. But again, it is WWE Survivor Series, so I think I might catch it just for the intrigue. But I'm watching it. I don't think for all. I don't think I'm watching it for the right reasons.
Well, and also because the little shop that I work at, they show like classic wrestling all the time. So I've gotten to see like the Mountie come back and watch him wrestle. I got to watch the SummerSlam with Macho Man and Hulk Hogan and all of that pageantry. And I don't think, and perhaps I'm wrong, but in 2021, I don't think you could have some of the stereotypical characters or personas, I guess is the right word, that you had back in like the late
No, you
90s.
can't.
You really can't.
No.
And it's I don't want to say that that's maybe part of the problem because I don't think that that's quite fair. I think that the people who are working for the company are probably very good at writing stories and things like that and
I would
storylines.
beg to differ right now. I would
No,
kind of
it's
beg to differ.
it's a LARP. That's all that it is. It's live action role playing. So I know some people. Call me. We'll come in. We'll role play some stuff and we'll hand it off to the wrestlers and then you guys can take it and run with it. We'll set up stories for you. No
That would
problem.
be great. I would love to do
Yeah,
that as well.
no
Uh,
problem.
I know for me, this is something is just again, the business has gone into a direction I've unfortunately had to deal with, and it's gone into a direction I do not want it to see. I would do want it to come back and come back strong. So I'm hoping that maybe this drama, real life drama of Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair will actually create enough interest to try to boost the product. Because if you don't have the WWE successful, then you don't have everyone else that's going to
Yeah.
be truly successful around it. AEW will be lifted by the WWE success. Everybody else will be lifted by the WWE success. So
Yeah.
if people are more interested in the pro wrestling product, then you'll see the residual effect from that. But yes, I'm hoping that this drama between Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch, that it's actually happening in real life, will go ahead and translate into viewing. But I'm not very excited to go ahead and see the rest of the card, but I will probably anyways. But if you have thoughts on the Survivor Series, please let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, my friend, it's been a great episode. I cannot thank you enough as always for joining me. Any last thoughts on the
Um,
way out?
Yeah, I do have a couple actually. And this is something that actually Rob and I have talked about a lot. Like, why isn't there, insert blank here? Um, so one of the things is, how successful D&D Beyond is for D&D. It's a place for you to keep, your digital books. It's a place for you to create your characters. It's a place for you to organize campaigns, all of that kind of stuff. This is not a
Mhm.
shill for D&D Beyond. But we've often thought about how the world of darkness, so werewolf, mage the awakening, vampires and vitae, vampire the masquerade. We were like, it'd be really great if they would just come up with a service like that on their own. And they're coming out with it. I'm very excited. It's going to be a digital platform. It's going to have character creation. It's going to have a place for storytellers to track their campaigns and stuff like that. It's going to have digital dice, so you don't have to try to figure out your dice rolls if you're new to the game. It's all going to be fifth edition stuff, which is the one that I was bringing a lot of people back to Vampire in particular. And they're also going to be including Pathfinder with that as well. So
Really?
yeah, it's gonna be a pretty big deal. I want to say it's coming out early next year. I'll have to confirm that, and maybe we'll expand upon it in our next episode. But they released the information and a bit of a trailer for it earlier this week, and we're really excited for it over here at Vampires and Vitae for sure.
There you go. And you said number two?
Number two, there were two things.
You said a
Oh
couple of
no.
things.
Oh gosh, what was the other thing? See, I got excited and then the other thing just left my brain. The other thing is next week I have a interview set up with the one of the creators of Defiant, which is the RPG game that we talked a little bit about last week. So we're going to get a little bit more of the nuts and bolts of the game and how they thought it up and all of that kind of stuff. I really want to dig into the creation of a brand new RPG game with that one. So we'll have that for next week.
Definitely looking forward to that as well.
Yay!
Yes, again, it's a busy month for us, so hopefully you will go ahead and keep checking us out, all the things we do right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. So for Melinda Barkhouse, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the PCC Multiverse. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great